Okay, so it is close to 2 a.m. on April 9th, 2018. I know it's late, but I wanted to get my weekly video done. So, what happened this past week? Well, my classes were largely uneventful. The major thing that I need to make sure I do is actually read the entire question, especially for my optics class. I keep overlooking part of what she's asking for. It's probably a result of some of the language barrier, because I don't believe my professor is a native English speaker, but it's my job to read what was written on the paper and respond to all of the questions. That's not so much an excuse as I think it's where the disconnect is coming from, because like she'll have a question, but she'll put a significant part of the question at the very, very beginning. And so I need to pay attention to everything that's written. So it's a good learning experience. It's just annoying to lose 5 and 10 points here and there because you just didn't read the whole question. But it's my own fault. There's no excuse for that. Most of what I did was a little bit more sociable rather than work related, although I did get some information about how to use WindPro. I'd been overlooking older resources that referred to WindPro 2.7 because I thought 3.0 was a totally new thing, but it looks like I was wrong. But now I have some walkthroughs and tutorials and stuff that I can actually do instead of just logging in and saying, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm pushing buttons and, hey, look, I did something. I wonder what that's for. I did go down to visit with my mother this past weekend, not for very long, but I picked up the tax forms that I needed, so now I can finally work on submitting my taxes. Finally. It's April. I'm probably getting a refund. I tried to get my paperwork sooner. They didn't send it to me. That's not my fault. I can't control where they sent the paperwork. I did spend some time socializing and hanging out with friends, and that seems to have been time that was kind of well spent, sort of. I rewatched Madoka, Puella Magi Madoka Magica, uh, this series, and I watched it with some friends this time. So I got to introduce them to the series. I suggested watching anime at some point, and Amy said, why not now? And I said, okay, yeah, now works. So that's what we wound up doing. And then on Saturday, we went out and hung out with Jake, and he made some dinner, some pho. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it was tasty. It was like a soup dish with noodles and beef and vegetables. And I'm not doing a very good job of describing it, but it was good. And that's about all I can say about it. We did watch some movies. In particular, he really wanted to show us John Wick, which is an action movie about basically the mob makes a hitman angry and then he brings out all of his skills. So it's kind of a mindless action movie, but it was fun, I guess. And we watched Battleship, which my expectations were about as low as they can come. So I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't total garbage. So that was an improvement. This coming week, I should have at least one Career Center event that I'm going to. It's some kind of formal dinner. I'll have to remember to dress up properly on Friday, and that's what I'll be doing on Friday instead of having a day off. But I'm going in for a lab with the professor for optics because we learned a lot in the labs, and don't know if I mentioned it, but like one of the things we did was look through the microscope at our cell phone screens to see what the pixels look like. And cheap phones were all very similar, but the more expensive phones were surprisingly impressive. Anyway, life is going. It seems to be mostly under control. I just need to not self sabotage because I've really only got about a month left of classes before everything is over. And right now I have about a B average, probably close to an A in some classes. I'm like right on that line. So I need to push just a little bit harder to get over it and get myself those A's that I want.